Horrific. That's what Congressman Derrick Van Orden says about the deaths and threats to fellow lawmakers in Minnesota and elsewhere. He adds the FBI is investigating a new credible threat against him and his family. It's not the first time either. News Channel 7's Emily Davies met up with him as he was touring a Portage County farm this afternoon. Emily, he got another threat today?
He did. On the drive over to the farm in Bancroft, Van Orden says the FBI told him they were investigating a credible threat against his life and family members, including his grandchildren. I asked if he was referring to the list of names the shooter in Minnesota had, and he said, you'd have to ask the FBI. He says he doesn't care what party you're affiliated with. If you're being threatened, it's wrong.
When people are trying to threaten you with violence to prevent you from doing your job as a legislator, that's not how this country was designed. It's not. And I don't get along with everybody. I don't. Mark and I, we can't be farther enough separated politically. He was on that list, and I condemn that wholeheartedly. Tammy Baldwin was on that list. I condemn that wholeheartedly.
The Mark he's referring to is Democratic Representative Mark Pocan. In May, another credible threat was reported to the Wood County Sheriff's Office, and the person making the threats was arrested. He missed votes in D.C. due to that threat. Now, Van Orden does post brassy comments on his non-congressional social media accounts. I asked why.
This is why. People have been enabled. So if you keep saying things over and over and over again and no one tells you to knock it off, you're just going to keep it up. You don't go from 0 to assassinating somebody overnight. That's a long, iterative, terrible process.
He adds the full extent of the law will be used against those who threaten legislators. New today, Senator Chuck Schumer said after a briefing with U.S. Capitol Police and Senate security leaders, they were told threats against elected officials, including federal lawmakers, has, quote, dramatically increased, unquote. He says they need more protection.
The Minnesota shooter previously lived in Wisconsin. Vance Belter and his wife lived in Sheboygan County for several years. One former neighbor says he was taken aback when he heard the news, saying Belter had a strong Christian faith. The neighbor says Belter worked at Johnsonville. Records show Belter led a religious group called Revel Formation Ministries. An archived webpage says he was ordained in 1993.